Hey, Marion.
And Dave.
Here with Headwaters Lake Fellsmere.com, bringing you another video in our series on learning the lake. But today we thought we'd do something a little bit different, take a break from the lake and come on down to the strike zone fishing here on 192 in Malvern for good reason, because we run into a lot of folks that are not quite sure on what to use out there on the lake. Sometimes they get a little frustrated, they're not finding the fish, so why are we here today?
So we're going to share a little bit about some of my favorite baits, some of Barry's favorite baits, and of course the folks from Strike Zone are going to share about what their best sellers are and some of their recommendations. So it just makes it a little, maybe we'll help a few guys out, sort through some of all the baits that are available.
Yeah, Headwaters is an incredible fishery. There's so many different structures of fish and places to fish, deep areas or shallows, and so having at least 3 or 4 baits that you know that you can use out there and feel pretty confident you're going to catch some fish, I think is going to be a real big help. So
that's it.
Ready to go inside?
Let's go on inside.
Track down Bobby. All right, so with that, going inside, we'll go find Bobby and have a conversation. All right, we tracked down Bobby here inside Strike Zone, so we're going to go over some of the lures like we talked about from outside, some of Dave's favorites, some of my favorites, and then what Bobby recommends. So before we even get started, Strike Zone is on 192 in Melbourne. They are not your
Target.
Across from Target, yep, and they're not your big superstore. I'm not going to call anybody out, but they're not your superstore fishing outlet, okay? They are a smaller store that's dedicated to the customers. Dedicated to helping their customers that come in and out catch fish. I mean, that's obviously what they do, is sell fishing equipment, but they want to ensure that if you come in, they're selling you what's going to work today. So with that, Bobby, a little bit, when it comes to selection.
Yeah, so we carry a large variety of different soft plastic baits, from bitters, gambler, net bait, different jigs, and all your big heavy tungsten slip weights that are super hard to find. Also rods and reels from Daiwa, Shimano. We carry all the newest and greatest stuff that's out there as far as bait casters and spinning reels, and then we got all kinds of line spooling. We can spool any rod and reel with anything you want to do it on.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, might as well, since you mentioned line, I'm going to tell you, folks, if you're not using green line, I know everybody has their favorites, but I can tell you from personal experience, green line makes a difference in fresh water.
If you want to catch green fish, you got to use green braid, and don't be afraid to fish heavy.
Yeah, exactly. Because my wife, who's behind the camera, Gail's, we got her strung up with green line, and she outfishes me. I hate that. And that's the only difference. Same bait, same everything. Well, she's probably just a better fisherman than I am. That could have something to do with it too. But that green line makes a difference. And then I went fishing with my brother yesterday. Green line, his rod, bam. Catch him. So the line does make a difference, folks. Okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some of the lures. I guess I'll go ahead and start. If you're going to go to the bottom, June bug, as an example, is a good color to use. Everybody has their favorite choices, as always, but June bug definitely performs. Ribbon tails, curly tails, anything like that seems to do really well. Just use to have enough weight to get punched down through the vegetation. As you know, it's pretty thick down there. So with that, Dave, what do you like?
Yeah, well, so one of my favorites is the fluke. So I like to use white. I use it on a heavy gauge hook to get that down. Sometimes I'll put some weight on it, depending where I'm fishing and the cover. Works really well for me. My other favorite is a swim jig. This is my go-to. I put a trailer to match the color, a paddle tail, even a fluke or a worm. But heavy, ½ ounce, get down through the cover. If it's light, I go to a 1/8 and swim it across. It's been very successful. I've been very successful.
Yeah, absolutely, without question. And talking about hooks, these new weighted hooks that got the little corkscrew kind of looking thing on it are fantastic. You're all good.
Got some traffic.
That's right. That have a corkscrew, but there's a weight actually on the hook. These things I like to use better than anything out there, especially with running the fluke. Color choice I like is anything that's got some blue in it. It seems to work really well. And what I like best about these, you can handle either the shallows, pitching up and moving a little quicker, keeping it closer to the surface, or go ahead, let it drop down into those deep holes, let it sink, dead stick it for a minute, and then just start to move it from there. Works super effective. I don't ever fish with, I always catch fish on these. No doubt, that's my absolute
Such a
favorite.
versatile. So you can fish it on the top, fish it, swim it,
Yeah,
jig it.
everything.
You can do anything with that bait.
It's
Love
for
that
everyone. It's an easy bait to use.
It is.
You don't-
It's
you
very
don't- you don't-
user-friendly.
I think that's a good
Absolutely.
point. Yeah, because it is easy to use, and
It
if you're
is.
coming from out of state or you're not local, it can be tough trying to figure out, oh, what bait am I going to use, right? So if you just want it all around, we're going to use the guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
That's it. It's a good bet if you're using a swim bait.
And if you have friends or family that are non-fishermen or are as quite experienced, a great beginner bait
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, because it is super easy to use. Like I said, just pitch it, give it, depending on how you're working it, either
Yeah.
fast, slow.
Down, twitch.
And in top water, okay? Frogs. It's just always have a frog in your box.
Super exciting. Top water. Nothing beats a top water bite.
That's
My
for sure.
favorite is a black frog. I've been successful. Early morning, late at the day.
Always top water. First
Yep.
thing in the morning, like dawn and dusk hours.
That's
for
it.
Sure.
That's it.
And then you're seeing this is the one you're seeing.
Yeah, the Whopper Popper has definitely
Yeah.
been tough to keep on the shelves since Headwaters opened. Those big fish in that place want that big bait, and that Whopper Popper makes a lot of noise. That's what those big fish want.
And like Bobby just said, right? So he's on the, here seeing what people are buying, talking to people. They don't just, hey, how's it going? Ring you up. I mean, these guys, every one of them, the whole staff here, the whole crew is just awesome. They get involved in what you're doing. They ask you, what is it you're going to be fishing for, and then they can reach out and start making, suggestions based on what they're seeing other people coming in, what they're seeing other people coming in to talk about. As Bobby said, the big ones are getting caught at Headwaters on big baits. Okay, so that should be another good idea as far as when you're thinking about, okay, do I want big ones? Well, throw something big. That's not to say you can't catch them on smaller ones, because we've got some pretty good fish on some smaller baits, but definitely on that. So I think we pretty much covered from bottom. We're going worms. From shallow to deep holes. I like the soft plastics on the flukes, topwater frog, weighted hooks, green line.
Swim jigs
Swim
and
jigs.
chatterbaits as well. It's been popular.
Yeah, and if you need those rods, the rods have been sitting around for a while, and you need to get them re-spooled.
Bring them on in.
It's a service that these guys do down here. It's a great way to come on in, get some fresh line. Don't buy line off the shelf. You never know. That stuff's sitting in factories and sitting in warehouses, and it finally makes it to the shelf of your bigger box stores. These guys got fresh line all the time, so it's going to hold up. So what's your hours down here?
Monday through Friday, we're here 9 to 7. Saturday, we're here 9 to 5. And Sunday, we're here 10 to 4.
So make that hop if you're staying
7 days a week.
7 days a week, that's right. So if you're staying on Palm Bay Road or Malabar Road, coming in from out of town, make the trip. It's just one exit up from the Palm Bay exit.
Exit 180, 192,
Yep.
and head east.
Yeah,
Can't miss us.
be on the right hand side. It's worth the trip.
Watch out for the big shark hanging from the front.
That's it. So, all right, folks, with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video, and we'll be back to the water videos coming up next week.
Awesome.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody.
So long,
Thank you.
everyone.
Be sure to check us out on Facebook at bit.ly/Headwaters Lake. Looking for a real fishing adventure in fresh or salt water? Head on over to livingwaterskayaking.com. Captain Dave is the best in pedal kayak guides, guaranteed to put you on the fish. Make Strike Zone Fishing on 192 in Melbourne your go-to fishing headquarters before you hit the lake. They have all the gear, bait, and knowledge you need to get set up to get the big ones. And as always, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We truly appreciate the support. Have a great day. Good fishing always.